Good morning. Thanks, Joan. So my name is Ben, and I'm a retirement services supervisor with SCERS. During our time together, we will review the basics of your retirement benefit, discuss benefit options, review tools for estimating a benefit, and touch on a few things to think about now and after retirement. Keep in mind that each presenting agency is a separate entity, and it is not a one-stop shop for all the information you need to plan for retirement. Finally, if there's any conflicting information within the presentation or Q&A, statute or policy will prevail. Let's review the basic of your benefits. SCERS manages your defined benefit pension plan. The plan is funded from employee and employer contributions plus earnings on investments. Upon meeting eligibility requirements, the plan provides you with a lifetime monthly benefit and potential survivor benefits. The benefit you receive is based on 3 factors: your age, service, and final compensation at retirement. Your monthly benefit amount equals your age factor multiplied by your service credit multiplied by final compensation. You're eligible for retirement after you vest with 5 years of service credit. You may apply for service you may apply for service retirement once you meet the eligibility criteria. Members with membership prior to January 1st of 2013 may service retire on or after age 50 and with 10 years of service. Miscellaneous members may retire at any age with 30 years of service. A member may also earn 5 years of service to vest and defer an additional 5 years to meet service requirements. Members with membership on or after January 1st of 2013 may service retire with 5 years of service and on or after age 52. Any member over the age of 70 can retire with any years of service. Your age factor is one component of the benefit calculation and is determined by your plan and tier. Your plan and tier is based on your job classification and entry date with SCERS. Each plan and tier has a minimum and maximum age factor. The maximum miscellaneous age factor for tiers 1, 2, and 3 is 2.611%. For miscellaneous tier 5, it is 2.5%. It is important to note that the age factor increases at every quarter age between the minimum and the maximum. So the higher your age at retirement, the greater the factor until you reach the maximum. A full listing of age factors by plan and tier is available in the member handbook on our website at scers.gov. The second component of your benefit is service credit. Service credit is earned each pay period based on hours worked to a maximum of 80 hours. 1 year of work is equal to 1 year of service credit. At retirement, you may convert any unused sick leave to service credit. Converted sick leave does not count toward vesting, but it will increase your benefit. The third component of your benefit is final compensation. Final compensation is based on your highest consecutive 12 or 36-month period of pension-eligible earnings based on your plan and tier. For Tier 1 plans, final compensation is the highest consecutive 12-month period. For all other plans, final compensation is the highest consecutive 36-month period. Your pension-eligible earnings are reported to SCERS from your employer, and specific pay elements can be found in the appendix of your handbook located on our website at scers.gov. Not all special pay elements are included. For example, overtime pay is not pension-eligible compensation. For members in membership after January 1st, 2013, final compensation is base pay only. Any special pay elements are not retirement applicable. At retirement, you will choose a benefit option, and once paid, your election is irrevocable, so it is important to understand the different options. The unmodified option provides the largest benefit payable to you. If you are married or registered for at least 1 year, your surviving spouse or partner is entitled to a 60% continuance at your death. Option 1 provides you with a slightly reduced amount per month, but lowers your account balance at a much slower rate. There is no continuance with this option. At your death, the designated beneficiary would receive any remaining account balance. As an example, you would receive a slightly reduced benefit with the potential to leave a remaining account balance to a beneficiary upon death. With this option, your account balance is reduced by the annuity-only portion of the benefit, which will take much longer to exhaust. Option 2 provides you a reduced lifetime allowance and offers a 100% continuance to surviving spouse, partner, or other eligible beneficiary. This reduction can be significant and is based upon the age of the beneficiary. As an example, this option allows you to maintain a level income for surviving spouse or partner upon your death. Option 3 provides a reduced lifetime benefit and offers a 50% continuance to surviving spouse, partner, or other eligible beneficiary. This option allows you to select a continuance for a spouse or partner if you have been married less than 1 year at retirement. For more information on each option, it is available in the member handbook on our website at SCERS.gov. As you plan for retirement, you may wish to purchase any missing time taken for medical leave of absence or other periods of employment, such as temporary employment, service prior to membership with another public agency, or military service. If you previously terminated employment, refunded, and later returned to covered employment, you can redeposit that service and contributions. You are encouraged to request a service purchase well in advance of your planned retirement date, and purchase requests must be submitted prior to your date of retirement. At certain peak times of the year, purchase calculations can take 6 months to receive. In addition, you may need to obtain information from outside sources to support your request. You can access a purchase request packet on our website at SCERS.gov, or you can send an email to request one at sacretire@saccounty.gov. Additionally, the cost of purchasing service increases over time. The longer you wait, the higher the cost. Purchases are calculated as if the service and contributions were made at that time. So you are paying for your contributions, employer contributions, and any associated interest. You must complete all purchase requests prior to retirement. If you have an outstanding purchase balance at the time of retirement, it must be paid off or the service will be prorated. The exception is a redeposit purchase. If you terminated, refunded, then later returned to covered employment and elected to redeposit, service is all or nothing. If you have an outstanding balance on a redeposit purchase at retirement, it must be paid in full, or all of the service, contributions, and interest will be refunded to you. If you had re-entered a better tier with the redeposit and do not pay off the balance, you will be moved to the most recent tier and receive a lesser retirement benefit. Purchases can be paid for by lump sum payment using personal funds or a rollover from another qualified plan, such as the County 457 Deferred Compensation Plan. You can also elect payroll deductions. As you plan for retirement, I strongly suggest you use the benefit calculator so you can have an idea of your monthly benefit in retirement. It is the best tool to help you plan appropriately. The benefit calculator is located within the SCERS member portal, and it will pre-populate all your input fields, such as your plan, tier, service, age, and your most recent final compensation. Keep in mind, you can use the calculator as much as you like by entering various retirement dates to help you plan. The Without Data benefit calculator can be found on the homepage of our website, and you do not need to log into the SCERS member portal. But be aware, your inputs drive the results. You want to make sure you select the correct plan, tier, and service years to ensure the most accurate estimated monthly benefit. Our member handbook also has a manual fill-in version of the calculation in the appendix. This slide illustrates a sample calculation for a miscellaneous Tier 3 member, age 55 and a half, with 15 years of service and $6,000 in 36-month final compensation. To determine the benefit, You multiply the age factor for miscellaneous tier 3 at 55.5, which is 2%, by 15 years of service, multiplied by 6,000 of 36-month final compensation, resulting in a gross unmodified monthly benefit of $1,800. From the previous example, the benefit calculator produces a similar result to this with all available options. Survivor continuance options will be listed based on the input in the calculator. The unmodified benefit is the largest benefit payable to you and provides that 60% continuance to a surviving spouse or partner. Option 1 is a slight reduction with no continuance. Option 2 is a reduction in your benefit to provide 100% continuance to a surviving spouse, partner, or other eligible beneficiary. Option 3 is a reduced benefit with a 50% continuance to a surviving spouse, partner, or eligible beneficiary. Remember, if you have been married less than 1 year at retirement, your spouse or partner is not eligible for continuance under the unmodified option. Again, more information on each option is available in our member handbook on our website at scers.gov. We are often asked, what do I need to know before retirement? You should use the benefit calculator to estimate your benefit when determining retirement readiness. It is the best tool to help you plan appropriately. Did you work for another public employer in California? Reciprocity may apply if you have no overlapping service and no more than 6 months between employment. Reciprocity establishes a link between systems and service credits count toward vesting. Salary information is shared at retirement, so you get the benefit of the highest final compensation. If you have not yet established reciprocity between agencies, do not wait until retirement. You must retire on the same day with all reciprocal agencies. Did you divorce or deregister during your employment with the county? What was your status when you entered county employment? A spouse or partner has a vested interest in your retirement account as community property. SCERS must have any judgment, marital status agreement, and/or joiner for each divorced spouse or partner. SCERS divorce policy provides members with up to 6 months and a potential 2-month extension to resolve any outstanding divorce issues while retaining the requested retirement date. If the issues are not resolved within the 8 months, your retirement date will be canceled and you must reapply with a new date after the divorce has been approved by the courts. If you are unsure of your status, contact SCERS by email or phone and we will review your account. Certain documents are required to process your retirement application. We must verify data inputs such as your birthday of a beneficiary receiving a continuance, and a proof of marriage or registration if applicable. Locate your birth certificate or valid passport, the birth certificate or passport of your spouse, partner, or other eligible beneficiary, and your marriage or registration certificate if applicable. In the event they have been misplaced or lost, please do not take long because it can take time for the issuing authority to get these replaced. You can provide these items to SCERS at any time in advance of retirement, but failure to provide timely will delay your retirement. A complete list of all the documents is available in the service retirement package on our website at scers.gov. Choosing a retirement date is a personal decision, and only you know when you are ready. Your retirement date can be any day of the week, but it is best to choose a date the day after your last day worked to avoid a lapse in payment. The date you retire must be the date after your last day worked. If you work on your retirement date, SCERS will change it to the next date. Once you are ready to retire, you must submit an original signed retirement application to SCERS. We can accept applications up to 60 calendar days in advance, but no more than 60 days, not even 1 day early, according to the county employees' retirement law. Any application received in advance of 60 days will be rejected and returned to the applicant. Likewise, you cannot backdate an application. Any application received after the retirement date has passed will have the retirement date changed to the date received. Applications received with no retirement date will be given a retirement date of the date received. We strongly suggest you submit your application with the 60-day notice. Once an application is received, staff will notify Superior Court of California. Your account will be reviewed and a retirement package will be sent to you. Retirement packages are generated with the information available at the time they are calculated. After reviewing the package, you will select an option and return your election to SCERS. Once SCERS receives your final pay information from your employer, any additional transactions that have posted after your initial retirement package was created are recalculated to determine your final benefit. Our staff will notify you of an anticipated payment date and send written confirmation of your election and final monthly benefit amount. At certain peak retirement dates, generally January to March, your first payment may not arrive for 60 to 90 days, so it is important to plan financially for a gap in funds. Your first payment will represent amounts retroactive to your retirement date. For planning purposes, it is helpful to know in retirement you are paid on the last business day of the month for the current month. If you elect, deductions will be taken for your retirement check for federal and state tax withholdings, plus any benefits you elect. It is important to inform SCERS of any address changes. We send quarterly newsletters, board election materials, and 1099 tax documents. You can update your address, but note that we do not automatically update state tax withholdings if you move out of California. We also cannot deduct state taxes for states other than California. You can make changes to your tax withholding, banking information, and beneficiary at any time. Your beneficiary may receive a $4,000 burial allowance, so please be sure to keep your beneficiaries updated. As a retiree, you will receive a cost of living adjustment each year in April, depending on your plan and tier based on the Bay Area Consumer Price Index, with the exception of miscellaneous Tier 2, which does not receive a COLA. The COLA is generally up to 2%, except Tier 1, which it can be up to 4%. The annual COLA is tracked on our website and communicated in our newsletter. In order to receive the COLA for the current year, your retirement date must be on or before March 31st of the same year. After retirement, you may consider going back to work. If you are employed in the private sector or outside Sacramento County Superior Courts of California or any other SCERS participating employer, your retirement benefit is not impacted. If you return as a retired annuitant working for the courts or another participating employer, you must wait 180 days before returning to work. Additionally, you are limited to no more than 960 hours per year. If you exceed the hour limit, your pension could be suspended and you could be enrolled as a contributing member. After retirement, you may decide to return to permanent full-time employment. Your circumstances may have changed, or you may miss the workforce. In the event, you will arrange employment with the employer, plus provide SCERS with a completed benefit suspension request and proof of the return to work date. Your pension will end on the day before your hire date. Returning to permanent employment will add additional service credit and potentially increase final compensation and age factor. When you are ready to re-retire, you will submit another retirement application and receive another retirement package for the period you return to work. Your suspended benefit will be reinstated and any COLAs during the suspension period are applied effective the new retirement date. The amount will be added to the new benefit resulting from your period of reemployment effective with your new retirement date. This concludes the SCERS portion of the presentation, and I will send it back to Joan to introduce our next presenter. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ben. Much appreciated. So now we'd like to have Suzanne Smith from Fidelity Investments hop on and share her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. So good morning, everyone. My name is Suzanne Smith, and I'm a workplace financial consultant with Fidelity Investments. I'm going to share my presentation with you here. Okay, and so hopefully that is sharing properly. And we're going to go through the slides and talk about what your options are with your 457B and 401A plans. So some key considerations during this period of transition. Here's a helpful checklist. So just some ideas, points that we'll be going through. The termination details for your 457B or 401A accounts at Fidelity. We'll talk about what your distribution options are. Also, beneficiary updates and how to do that. And then lastly, contacts and resources for help. So post-termination considerations, what are some things to know? Keep in mind that there will be no additional contributions into your 457B deferred compensation plan. So once you are terminated, no additional contributions. You can work directly with Fidelity for any of these transactions to modify your investment choices. So you can still make changes to what you're invested in. You can change your address, change your beneficiary designation. You can decide your distribution method or even change your distribution choices and also roll over the money. You can always go to netbenefits.com. That's the website. And this is the 800 number here. And we'll be repeating this at the end. So that's 800-343-0860. So what are your distribution options? So with the 457B deferred compensation plan, there is no early withdrawal penalty. It is truly deferred compensation. The 401A, however, does have early withdrawal penalties if taken before the age of 59 and a half. So with termination or retirement, these are your distribution options. You can take a lump sum of the entire balance all at once or partial lump sum payments. You can also set it up for periodic distributions or what we call systematic withdrawals. You can have that come monthly, quarterly, annually. You can choose. You also have the choice to roll over to another retirement vehicle, such as a 401k, 403b, another 457b, an IRA, and you can do all of it or part of it to the rollover to those other vehicles. You want to make sure to seek tax advice on the impact any of these choices may have to your taxable income, taxes taken versus taxes that will be due, as well as if any of those distributions might impact the taxability of your Social Security payments or your Medicare Part B costs. That's because certain distributions, as opposed to rollovers, will be counted as taxable income for you for that year. So if your taxable income goes up, does that affect your Social Security taxability or Medicare Part B costs? So keep in mind and consult with a tax advisor. So the distribution options, we're going to break it down into 4 options. Number 1, keep the money in the plan. Keep it in your old workplace plan, in the Sac County plan. Number 2, roll over to a new employer plan, a new workplace plan. Number 3, roll to an IRA. And number 4, withdraw all or part of the balance. So number 1, keep the money in the existing plan. What are some of the benefits of doing that? Well, it stays where it is, continued tax deferred growth of your savings. You can keep it in the investment it's in. You can even move it around to another investment if you want to within the plan. If it's after age 55 and it's a 401A where there are penalties for early withdrawals, you can actually invoke the rule of 55 and avoid that penalty. So if you're under the age of 59 and a half, but 55 or older, and you have the rule of 55, then you can avoid that 10% penalty for withdrawals. And When it's inside an employer-sponsored retirement plan, you have unlimited creditor protection, both in and outside of bankruptcy. For some people, that's very important. What are some other things to consider? Well, you might have limited options inside your plan, different investment options, withdrawal options, beneficiary options. In your employer-sponsored retirement plan, when it comes to beneficiaries, your primary beneficiary, if you're married, must be your spouse. In other retirement vehicles, you have a choice. You may have balance minimums inside the plan. If it falls below a certain minimum, they will want you to roll it out. That's called a de minimis. And sometimes when we leave a plan in place and we move on in our lives, sometimes we forget to keep an eye on it, or we just overlook the investments. Maybe we're not paying attention and making sure that our investment strategy is still aligned with our goals. The option number 2 is to roll over to a new workplace plan. So if you go to work at another employer, the benefit of that is it's going from one vehicle to another, one retirement vehicle to another. So it would continue the tax deferred growth of the savings. If it's Roth money, it would roll over as Roth, and it would also continue the tax-free Roth growth of the tax-free growth. Combining your accounts into one makes it easier for tracking and management if your current employer's plan will allow you to do this. You can defer those required minimum distributions, because if you are in a retirement plan with your employer and you're still employed after you reach the age of 73, which is the current age for those required minimum distributions, inside your current employer's plan, you can delay those if you're still working. If it's in an old employer plan or in an IRA and you're still working, you will still need to start those required minimum distributions. So you can only delay it for still working if it's in your current employer's plan. Potential availability of plan loans. So the rollover balance into the new workplace plan is eligible for loans through that workplace plan. Lower cost or plan-specific investment options. So inside your employer plan, you typically have institutional share classes, no transaction fees. If you roll to an IRA, you would potentially have transaction fees, because an IRA is just a brokerage account with an IRA wrapper around it. So you don't have access to those institutional share class investment options like you do inside an employer plan. But you do have unlimited creditor protection inside, again, both in and outside of bankruptcy. What are some things to consider? You might have, again, limited options depending on what the plan chooses as your investment options. Every plan is different. There are no two plans alike. Any outstanding loans from your prior employer are not rolled over. So you may be subject to default on those loans, or you may have to pay them immediately. You will be subject to the new employer plan rules. So again, every employer-sponsored retirement plan, regardless if it's 401k or 403b and so on, are different. So they could have different restrictions, and they may have fees and expenses that you're not accustomed to. Option number 3, roll to your own IRA. So an IRA is an individual retirement account, something completely separate and outside of any employer-sponsored retirement plan. As I just mentioned, an IRA is a brokerage account with an IRA wrapper around it. So the money would liquidate out of the investments inside the plan and roll over as cash. And then you would be responsible. It's a self-directed brokerage account. You would be responsible for choosing how you want to invest that money. There's no default investment option. Of course, we can always help. If you have that IRA with Fidelity, we're happy to help. If you have the IRA elsewhere, I'm sure they're happy to help you as well. But just keep in mind, there's no default investment option. The benefit of rolling to IRA, of course, is that it is a retirement account. So you're keeping it under that retirement umbrella. It's not a taxable event. So the money, for tax deferred money, it continues to grow tax deferred. For Roth money, it would roll to Roth IRA and it would continue to grow tax free. You can consolidate multiple accounts, multiple employer plans into one IRA if you choose. You have the option to convert your assets from a traditional rollover IRA, so tax deferred IRA, to Roth IRA if you wanted to. Keep in mind, any money that you convert from IRA to Roth IRA, you will owe tax on the amount of conversion in the year of conversion, but you don't pay that tax until you file your 1040, your tax return for that year. Penalty-free withdrawals for qualified first-time home purchase or certain qualified higher education expenses if you're under the age of 59 and a half. So one of the things that IRAs allow you to do, unlike an employer-sponsored retirement plan, is to take out up to $10,000 for a qualified first-time home purchase or qualified higher education expenses without the 10% penalty if you're under the age of 59 and a half. It's still a taxable event, but without that 10% penalty. But keep in mind, the exclusion only applies to $10,000. Some other things to consider: you cannot take a loan from an IRA. So with an employer-sponsored retirement plan, they do have loan provisions. IRAs do not. You lose access to low-cost or custom investments available only in plans, as I mentioned, institutional share classes, no transaction fees, lower expense ratios in those funds. Whereas in a retail brokerage account, which is what an IRA is, you're buying retail share classes, possible transaction fees. Of course, there's lots of options that have no transaction fees and have lower costs. It just depends on what you buy. You lose the potential to defer the required minimum distribution requirement. So as I mentioned, if you're still working and you reach the age of required minimum distributions beginning, right now that's 73, they will bump to the age of 75 in the year 2035. Right now, if you're still working and you're reach the age of 73, the money that's in your employer plan is not subject to those required minimum distributions. The money in an IRA is. You must start taking that money from the IRA, even if you're still working. So that can be difficult because it's going to add to your taxable income for the year. Creditor protection of qualified plan assets is unlimited under federal law, but the protection of IRAs varies by state law. So depending on what state you're in, you lose the potential to take penalty-free withdrawals at age 55. So the rule of 55 requires that you must be at least age 55 when you leave your employer. You must leave the money in the employer plan. So if it moves to IRA, it's no longer eligible for the rule of 55. So that is a requirement. You must leave it in the employer plan to be able to invoke the rule of 55. And then, of course, as I mentioned, fees and expenses can vary by IRA, depending on who the custodian is and depending on what you decide to purchase as your investment. Number 4 is to withdraw your money, either a full withdrawal or partial withdrawal. A full withdrawal, you would have immediate access to the savings, right? It's all yours. Partial distribution, immediate access to some of your savings. The rest can stay in and continue to grow tax deferred. You can stay invested in the plan's investment options, no restrictions on the number and frequency of partial distributions. So maybe you just want to take out chunks at a time for vacations or some other type of of priority. Penalty-free withdrawals after the age of 55, again, subject to the rule of 55. Some of the things to consider: if you take a full withdrawal, there's going to be, anytime you take a withdrawal, there's going to be 20% federal income tax withholding, possible state income tax, depending on the state you live when you make that withdrawal. If it's here, there's a 2% for state. 10% early withdrawal penalty if you're younger than 59 and a half for the 401A plan. Does not apply to the 457. There's no early withdrawal penalty. The only requirement for the 457 is that you've separated service from the county. But you can be at any age. But the 401A is subject to the 59 and a half restriction. If you take an early distribution like this, a full withdrawal, then maybe there's less money down the road for retirement. If you take a partial distribution, again, the same tax withholding requirements, the same 10% early withdrawal penalty if you're younger than 59 and a half, if it's tax deferred money in the 401A, possible restrictions on new contributions if you're still employed, and less money down the road for retirement. And then the other things to keep in mind. So those are the 4 withdrawal options or distribution options. What are some other rules of thumb to keep in mind? How do we make sure we don't run out of money? Well, it's recommended that you stick to a 4 to 5% withdrawal rate. So there's been back testing of a 60-40 portfolio, 60% stock, 40% bonds, and they back tested it all the way back to the beginning of the stock market, back to the 20s. And they have run different withdrawal rates on those portfolios over many different market conditions, market cycles. And they find that at 4 to 5%, it's sustainable. In fact, at 4%, the balance continues to grow. Anything more than 5%, 6, 7, 8, and the balance begins to deplete. So the lower your withdrawal percentage, the longer the money will live, of course. But keep in mind that you may need to take required minimum distributions beginning at age 73. In the future, it'll be age 75. Again, that's where the IRS takes the balance of your tax-deferred accounts. So think about it in terms of the IRS hasn't gotten any tax revenue on that money. They just get tired of waiting. So on December 31st of the year prior to when you turn 73, they're going to take that balance and apply a formula to the balance based on life expectancy tables, and that'll calculate the minimum amount you must take out the following year. And then they'll recalculate it every year on December 31st for the rest of your life. The amount, again, depends on your age, your life expectancy, and your balance. If you fail to satisfy and take out the full amount of the required minimum distribution prior to the end of the year, then that will result in a penalty of 25% on any of the amount you did not take. That used to be 50% penalty. They lowered it to 25% a few years ago. But that's how serious they are about getting that tax revenue. They don't let you kick that can down the road forever. So again, RMD starts the year of the age, regardless of prior distributions. So even if you took money out prior to turning 73, it's based on the balance of your account on December 31st of the year prior to turning 73. They're going to use a calculation based on the IRS requirement as well as account balance, life expectancy. So again, they use the uniform life expectancy tables, and that is a formula to the balance, which will then calculate the minimum amount you must take out that next year. Failure to take the distribution by the end of the year will result in a 25% penalty for what you should have taken. And for the Roth money, anyone that has Roth money in their accounts, Roth money is not subject to any required minimum distribution. The IRS already got all the tax they're going to get. So you have the freedom and flexibility to let your Roth money grow as long as you choose. So what is some flexibility around these distribution options? You can start, stop, or adjust your distribution choice at any time. You can specify a particular fund from which to take distributions. And that can be really beneficial in different times of market volatility. You can have it directly deposited, available through ACH. Keep in mind, it's taxable as normal income in the year received. So if it's an actual distribution, not a rollover, it's going to be taxable as income in that year. There will be tax withholding at the time of distribution. It's currently 22%, 20% federal, 2% state for California. And then you receive a 1099-R from Fidelity in January of the following year to use when you file your 1040. Keep in mind with Roth money, Roth is an after-tax contribution that grows tax-free. The growth is tax-free as long as it's been at least 5 years since you started doing any kind of Roth contribution and you're over the age of 59 and a half. Once both of those conditions are satisfied, all the money's tax-free. It's also tax-free in the event of death or disability. You will receive a 1099-R in January. We still report the distribution. It's just not a taxable event. And all the same distribution options apply to the Roth money as well. Keep in mind, it's important to always update your beneficiaries. You can make them directly on the Net Benefits website. Just log into your account, click Account and Benefits, and then click Update Beneficiaries. Follow the instructions. You just need name, address, and birth date. You don't have to have their social. There is a field for it, but it's not a required field. So here's contact information, important to keep in mind for Fidelity. Contact us to set up your distribution choice for both the pre-tax, deferred, and Roth. If you want to make any exchanges between your investments, if you want to do a conversion of pre-tax money to Roth money, you can do that as well. Keep in mind that is a taxable event. You can change your beneficiary designation and also change your name or address. So for Fidelity, the phone number 800-343-0860. netbenefits.com is the website. Make sure to contact the county for any 3-year limited catch-up program, any questions regarding an accrual calculation or valuation, what your final paycheck contributions might be, general 457B questions, and retired annuitant enrollment. The Employee Benefits Department, 916-874-2020, and they can be reached at the email address of mybenefits@saukcounty.gov. So that concludes my presentation. I know there were some questions posted, so as I hand it off to the next presenter, I will stay on and I will type in my answers to your questions. If I'm not sure of the question or of the answer, I will refer you back to either of the 800 numbers where they may be able to answer. But thank you so much for your attention. I appreciate it. If you are interested in registering for one-on-ones with Fidelity, you can always go to fidelity.com/schedule, and you'll see, put in your employer, and then you'll see the available virtual appointments. You have to ask to see virtual or on-site appointments as well. Thank you very much. Joan, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Suzanne. I really appreciate that. And I'm hoping that the county contact part is okay with courts, but I think we'll get that sorted out later on in this webinar. Right now, I would like to introduce Michael Teixeira, who is coming to us from Social Security Administration.
Thank you, Joan, and good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Teixeira, as Joan mentioned, and I am the Public Affairs Specialist here at the Social Security Administration. I want to begin by congratulating you all on thinking about this next phase of retirement. As we mentioned, you're going to receive a lot of information today from a variety of great resources. And the intent here for us on my portion here at Social Security is to provide you with some basic retirement understandings, but more importantly, resources available to you moving forward. Again, whether retirement is right around the corner or in 10 years from now, many of these resources will be available to you online and from many of our other sources. Before we begin, I just wanted to mention that the material in this presentation has been prepared by our Public Affairs Office at Social Security, and participation in the presentation doesn't constitute any endorsement by the SSA or its employees of the organizations and informations and products not provided by Social Security. So some of the objectives that we have today, we're going to review how Social Security retirement benefits work, planning for your retirement, and the various strategies that we have available. We'll also cover Social Security's role when it comes to Medicare and applying for Medicare. And then lastly, and more importantly, how to apply for those benefits. Now, there's three main ways to contact us and access service. The first and most convenient way for most folks is by visiting our website at ssa.gov. You can also access service by phone via our 1-800 number at 1-800-772-1213. Or if you're looking for your local field office information, whether that's an electronic fax information, address, also some offices have their local numbers posted. You can utilize our ssa.gov/locator site. So the locator site will allow you to put in your zip code, which will provide you with your local field office that will provide service to you. And again, much more information in relation to other resources that are available to you. So the Social Security website is a valuable resource of information about all of Social Security's programs, and it is accessible from a computer, tablet, and smartphone. We encourage you to use our online retirement planning tools to plan for a secure financial future. All the information covered in my portion of the presentation today can be found online. It's not top secret information. Much of the information can also be found via our YouTube page, which I'll speak to a little bit later. But our YouTube page also has a variety of subtopics. So some of the topics that I cover here today, you can find 3, 4, 5-minute videos on those specific topics. We've really streamlined our website to make it easy for you when it comes to planning for your retirement with a prepare, apply, and after you apply feature. We've also expanded many of our card features, so you can now do things like process a name change, a first-time number card request. We've been able to do replacement cards online for several years now, but some of these other functionalities continue to expand. You can also make an appointment in relation to cards and services online. So if you need to, for example, change your name, whether that's due to a divorce or marriage, you can go ahead and schedule an appointment to visit the local office after you complete the application. It'll list the documents that you need to provide to us. You'll come in on that specific date and time, provide those proofs to us. We'll make copies if needed. And we'll go ahead and send you on your merry way that day. So we are expanding many of our appointment services as well, and we expect some more changes here in the near future in relation to that. Now, if I was in person with you all, I typically ask by a show of hands how many of you all have a My Social Security account. I won't do that here today since we're conducting this virtually. But if you do have a My Social Security account, you're probably very familiar with the convenient and secure suite of services that we offer online. We have transitioned to utilizing login.gov and ID.me when it comes to signing into your My Social Security account. So if you haven't created an account yet, you will be directed to one of those platforms to create your account. If you already have an account and you've created one in the past, you will be asked to transition your account and link your account up to the login.gov and ID Me feature. If you have additional questions, we have a YouTube video online. It's about 5 minutes or so on how to transition your My Social Security account to utilizing login.gov and ID Me. I will say for the most part, once you're transitioned onto that platform, many folks, for example, use login.gov. It allows a one-stop shop for a variety of government agencies versus having to have different username and passwords for the Social Security Administration, IRS, Medicare, etc. You now can access many of those government services in one portal via your login.gov account. So when you receive Social Security benefits, My Social Security provides a variety of services that in the past you would need to come visit a local field office, from things like mailed notices being available online, to reporting wages if you return to work, to getting a benefit verification, to changing your address, phone number, starting or changing your direct deposit information, requesting a replacement Medicare card, getting a replacement 1099 or 1042S for tax season. Again, many of these services continue to expand. Now, for those of you who are not receiving benefits yet, and you're probably wondering, well, why would I need a My Social Security account? I highly advise you to create an account primarily for the ability to view your retirement benefit estimates. So the retirement calculator will allow you to view your benefit estimates at different ages or dates, and I'll go over that here in the next few slides. But in addition to that, you can view possible spousal benefits, get your replacement Social Security card, check the status of your application or appeal if you have filed, or view your Social Security statement, which posts your earnings history and posts the estimates of your future retirement, disability, and survivor benefits. Now, for some of you, you may recall we used to mail out a Social Security statement every year. Then we started mailing them out periodically on certain milestone years. Now we will not mail the Social Security statement out to those under the age of 60. We will only mail the Social Security statement out to those over the age of 60 and those who do not have a My Social Security account. The good news is the online version of the Social Security statement, again, it provides you with those estimates of retirement benefits, but also disability benefits, survivor benefits for family members if you pass. It provides you with a simple chart of a breakdown of when you elect to receive the benefits, the impact on that, what the impact on that will have. Again, your earnings history, which I always advise folks to check your earnings history prior to retirement, so to ensure that those earnings on our records do match your records. But most importantly, what I enjoy about the online version is it provides you with an explanation of how one qualifies for retirement benefits, disability benefits, etc. There's also some active links with this online version, and so it's a little bit more, it's more interactive than what we used to mail out, and there's more information just overall. Now, as I mentioned, the retirement calculator is a great tool when it comes to planning for your future, for planning for retirement when that time comes. You can compare your individualized retirement benefit estimates at various ages. I'll go over the criteria for that here later in the presentation. But again, the retirement calculator allows you to select specific dates that you may have in mind, specific ages, what your future earnings are per year. So for most folks, they'll place in here their current most recent year of earnings, very similar to what we use internally if you call us. So if you give us a call, we use a very similar calculator. Again, we do call it an estimate because we're assuming that you continue to work at the rate at which you worked last year. So we're using those estimates per year. But if you decide to stop working and you want to see what the effect of that will have on your benefits, you can put 0 here for your future earnings, and you'll be able to see what that effect will have. The retirement calculator also allows you to view some simple ages like age 62 for retirement age and age 70, which I'll explain here in the next few slides. So now let's go ahead and review how one becomes eligible for retirement benefits. So again, we're talking simply how to become eligibility for the retirement benefits. So by earning credits when you work and pay Social Security taxes, you're contributing to the Social Security program. You need 40 credits or 10 years of work, and you must be at least age 62 or older to be eligible for retirement benefits. So again, this is simply how to be eligible and when you can first start electing to receive benefits from your own records. You need 40 credits, essentially 10 years of work, and you must be age 62 or older. So in 2025, each $1,810 in earnings gives you 1 credit, and you can earn a maximum of 4 credits per year. So oftentimes folks ask me, well, what about all those extra earnings I've paid into the program? Where did those earnings go? And that comes into the calculation of how much you'll receive in Social Security benefits. And so how Social Security determines your benefit is those benefits are based on your earnings and what you've contributed in Social Security taxes. We find the monthly average of your 35 highest earning years, and this will result in what we call an average index monthly earnings, or simply just an average monthly earnings over the course of those 35 highest earning years. Now, take in mind, we do take into account, keep in mind, we do take into account your wage levels over time. For example, there's a national index that we use, which compares what wages in 1985 were, for example, what they are today. So $15,000 in 1985 is much different than what it's worth today. And so there's a national index that we use to make that distinction. But the main takeaway here with this slide is how we determine your benefit is we're finding a monthly average of your 35 highest earning years. Now we'll take those 35 highest earning years and we'll apply a specific formula. This is not something you have to do on your own. You're not going to have to come into the office and compute this yourself. This is simply for those who are curious and they've seen what their monthly benefit will be and are curious on how we calculate that. We're going to use this example here. And again, keep in mind, this is the 2025 benefit formula. It does change year to year. So in this example here, the individual's average monthly earnings are $8,000. Their monthly benefit would be $3,167 at full retirement age, which is 100% of their benefit. How we compute that is we take 90% of the first $1,174 from those monthly earnings, 32% of earnings between $1,226 and $7,391, and then 15% of earnings over $7,391. Again, it's a lot, it's a mouthful. It's not something you specifically have to compute yourself or anything like that. This is simply for those curious minds who are wondering how we came up with that formula for what they would receive at full retirement age. And so we also provide a variety of filing strategies and options. It's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all approach. So the earliest age one can choose to retire and choose to collect Social Security retirement benefits is age 62. Now, keep in mind, this does come with a permanent reduction of benefits. So the earlier you take it, the more reduced your benefit will be. Now, in the previous slides, I mentioned full retirement age. So full retirement age, again, means 100% of the benefit that you're entitled to if you choose to wait to that age. For those, the age of the full retirement age does vary depending on the year you were born. So keep that in mind. If you were born after 1960, the full retirement age is age 67. If you were born after 1959, it's 66 and 10 months. 1958, it's 66 and 8 months. 1957, it's 66 and 6 months. I think anyone born prior to that, they're above full retirement age now at this point. Now, you can also choose to elect to delay your retirement all the way up to age 70, and this is known as the max delayed retirement credit. So again, you have options. You can choose to elect to collect your Social Security retirement as early as age 62. This is the most reduced amount that you will receive. You can wait every month that you wait all the way up to age 70, that benefit will increase. And age 70 is the maximum delayed retirement credit that you can receive. The best way to get an idea on how much you will receive on various dates or years, again, is by utilizing that retirement calculator. We also do offer the ability to work while receiving benefits. If you're in the month of full retirement age and above, there is no limit. So you can, at full retirement age, collect your Social Security retirement, continue working. There's no limit on how much you earn. There won't be any effect on your monthly benefit. Now, if you're under full retirement age, you can make up to $23,400 per year in the year 2025. If you earn more, some benefits will be withheld. It will be one for every $2 withheld above that limit. Now, the year in which full retirement age is reached, you can earn up to $62,160 before the month of full retirement age, and one for every $3 will be withheld. And in this situation, that's if you chose to collect your retirement in the beginning of the year, you're not full retirement until later in the year, and you wanted to continue working, you can make up to that amount. So income that counts towards the annual earnings limit. So here we're referencing an earnings limit. So it's earnings from employment, gross wages from employment, and/or net earnings from self-employment. Income that does not count as earnings and will not have an effect on your Social Security retirement are things like inheritance payments, interest and dividends, pensions, capital gains, income from investments, or any other sources. This will not have an effect on your Social Security retirement benefits. Now, one of the most recent updates, and I'm sure you've heard about this in the news and the media, is the Social Security Fairness Act. And so the Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law on January 5th, 2025. This act ends what we call the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. Both of those were essentially for workers who did not contribute to Social Security and had some public pensions. So, for example, teachers, firefighters, police officers, federal employees under certain systems, or people who worked under, who were covered by a foreign Social Security system. If they had earnings in which they did not contribute to Social Security and they had years in which they did, they were previously being offset. Now you're just going to be entitled to the amount that you've paid into the system, even if you have that public pension and you did not pay into Social Security. So for those of you who have not yet applied for your benefit, the windfall elimination provision and government pension offset will no longer apply to you. The amount posted on your My Social Security statement will be what you're entitled to for everyone now. So again, this was the windfall elimination provision, the government pension offset were for situations for folks who did not pay into Social Security for a number of years, and they had public pensions or other pensions from other sources. So I also wanted to speak upon our family benefits that we offer for spouses and minors and folks who may be entitled to benefits under your record. So keep in mind, when you file an application, whether that's for retirement or disability, part of the process is we are going to ask if you're currently married, if you've previously been married, if you have minor children, etc. We are going to seek what's most advantageous for everyone in the household. Social Security will always look for eligible family members based on the answers to the questions in your application. And keep in mind that additional benefits do not reduce the payment to the retired worker. Your spouse may be entitled to 50% of your benefit if their benefit is lower than that amount. For some folks, they've worked, paid into the system, they're not entitled to spousal benefits. But for others who have not paid into Social Security, they may have had situations where they work for employers who did not pay into Social Security. They may be entitled to 50% of your Social Security benefit, of your unreduced benefit amount. Keep in mind that there is a reduction for early retirement, so that percentage does lower. And again, it's an either or situation. We're going to look to see what's higher of the two, their own benefit or 50% under the worker's benefit amount. It does not reduce the payment to the worker, so it does not reduce your payment if your spouse is collecting benefits under your amount. And also keep in mind that spousal benefits are not payable until the worker collects as well. We also offer survivor benefits. So when you pass away, your surviving spouse may receive 100% of your unreduced benefit amount. They can start electing to collect those benefits as early as age 60 and receive 71.5% of your full benefit. and it increases in each month until they reach full retirement age. So that is also a possibility. Survivor benefits are available to those. Once you pass, there may be eligible family members who can receive benefits under your record. So next, we're going to transition quickly into Medicare and Social Security's role when it comes to Medicare benefits. Our primary role is during the enrollment process when you apply for Medicare, and then your monthly premiums will come out of your retirement benefit if you are currently receiving retirement benefits and you choose to elect to take Medicare. So we're going to give a really quick breakdown of the different parts of Medicare. So we have Medicare Part A, which is hospital coverage. It's free. It does not have a premium. Medicare Part B is doctor coverage. That does come with a monthly premium. Medicare Part D is a prescription drug coverage. And then there's Medicare Part C, which is a Medicare Advantage plan, a Medigap, also known as. Essentially, if you have certain conditions or things of that nature and you feel that you need additional coverage, that Medicare Advantage plan can assist you with that. There's many community partners who will assist you with choosing that plan as well. Now, when it comes to eligibility, you must be age 65 or older to elect to receive Medicare or be on our Social Security Disability Insurance Program for 24 months or have a disabling condition, whether it's ALS or kidney failure. You should apply for your Medicare 3 months before your 65th birthday. And so that is what's known as the initial enrollment period. Now, we do offer various enrollment periods when it comes to Medicare. Again, Medicare Part B comes with a premium, so you will have some options, and I'll explain that here. So your first opportunity to enroll Medicare is at your 65th birthday, 3 months before or after your 65th birthday. Now, if you're currently employed or your spouse is currently employed and you're covered under their active group health plan, you can choose not to pay those monthly Part B premiums and delay that Medicare. This, when it's time for that group health plan to end, so due to employment ending, retiring, etc., you'll complete a couple forms by the HR department and yourself, basically indicating that you were covered under this group health plan. That's why you chose to delay it and chose not to take it at age 65. This is known as the special enrollment period. So there's an initial enrollment period at age 65. Then there's a special enrollment period for those who are covered under a group health plan from you or your spouse's active employment. Essentially, Medicare will pick up where that group health plan ended. And then there's a general enrollment period, simply if you chose not to take Medicare for whatever reason it may be, you were not covered under a group health plan, you're above age 65, you can enroll in Medicare during the general enrollment period, which is January 1st to March 31st, and that's annually. Now, keep in mind, there are penalties if you choose not to enroll. Do not fall under either initial enrollment period or special enrollment period. So there's no penalty if you were covered under a group health plan from you or your spouse's employment. However, there is a penalty if you chose not to take Medicare and now you want to enroll in Medicare and you were not covered under a group health plan. And it's about a 10% penalty for each year that you wait and you chose not to take it. So that'll be tacked on to the monthly premium when it comes to Medicare Part B. Now, Medicare Part B premiums do typically change year to year, so keep that in mind as we review this slide. We are looking at the modified adjusted gross income for individuals and married couples. So there's different income brackets here. The standard premium is $185, and that's if an individual has a modified adjusted gross income of $106,000 or less, or if a married couple has a modified adjusted gross income of $212,000 or less. Now, if you fall under these other categories, you have more income you have income that's above these amounts, then you will pay the standard premium plus income-related monthly adjustment. Now, keep in mind, we are looking at tax returns from 2 years prior. So if you've had a life-changing event, something's changed between those 2 years that we're using to base that estimate, that premium on, then there's a list that you can select from, basically indicating that's not my situation now. I stopped employment or whatever it may be. I'm divorced. I'm no longer married. Then we will go ahead and evaluate that. So there is also an opportunity for that. And again, these premiums are deducted from your retirement benefit if you are receiving retirement benefits. Otherwise, CMS is the one who will go ahead and bill you directly. So keep in mind when it comes to Medicare, Medicare enrollment, et cetera, Social Security's primary role is in the enrollment process. The premiums are deducted from your monthly retirement check, but Medicare is their own agency, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, also known as CMS. They have their own website, their own login, essentially, where you can choose different plans for you. There's also a variety of community partners out there who will assist you with choosing the right plan for you. And then lastly, applying for benefits. Your options to apply are online, by phone, or at our office. We are requiring appointments. So if you do need to make an appointment to apply for benefits, you will need to contact us prior to visiting. Most folks, it's in this high 60% mark, are applying online. Fairly straightforward process. We'll review the process with you. We'll send you out a summary of what you submitted to us. If you need to make any changes, you could still do so. Online seems to be the most convenient way for most individuals, but it's a service option. So you can choose the most convenient option for you. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have a variety of social media pages, whether that's on YouTube with our different topics that I covered here today, also how to get a replacement card, things of that nature. We have some quick videos available online. We also have social media pages. For example, our Facebook page will have certain campaigns when it comes to our Slam the Scam month. For example, we'll post some scam awareness information. Veterans Day, we'll post some veteran resources available to you all. And so keep that in mind. Now, I just also wanted to mention that our website does have the opportunity for you to subscribe to it, to update, to provide you with an email each time it's updated, or if there's any press releases, etc. There's a lot of information floating out there, a lot of misinformation floating out there. And so if you visit our website, you can click to receive emails whenever we have any updates, press releases, etc. And so that way you get the information directly from the source itself. And so that concludes my portion of the presentation. I'll go ahead and answer the questions in the Q&A here as well. And I'll stick around if you have any additional questions, but I'll pass it back over to Joan.
Thank you, Michael. And now we are going into the court presentation. We're going to begin with the court payroll, and Victoria Valdez and Ashley McFall will present that section. And then the court retiree benefits portion will be presented by Amaris Trujillo and Aaron Velasquez.
Thank you, Joan. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sacramento Superior Court's Retiree Webinar. Thank you for joining us all today. My name is Victoria Valdez, and together I'll be joined with Ashley McFall, and we'll be leading the first segment of this portion of the webinar. To begin, here's an overview of what will be covered in this portion of the webinar regarding the court's retirement process. We'll start with the payroll unit, which will cover years of service, vacation payout upon retirement, Fidelity 457B contributions, and the employee's final paycheck. Following that, the retiree benefits team will discuss retiree benefits, the court's retiree subsidy, the retiree premium invoice, and important reminders to keep in mind once you retire.
As you prepare for retirement, the first step is to initiate the process with SCERS. We understand this transition can sometimes feel overwhelming with all of the moving parts, such as financial changes, paperwork, and healthcare decisions. Having dedicated teams in HR helps to avoid the confusion about where to go for specific needs while feeling confident and supported as you make this major change in your life. As you begin the process, there are two main points of contact here at the court. First is payroll, reachable at payroll@saccourt.ca.gov. Payroll will assist you with your final paycheck, any unused leave balances, and options regarding your 457B plan. The second is HR retirees, reachable at hrretirees@saccourt.ca.gov. They will be your resource for navigating retiree health benefits and ensuring a smooth transition into coverage.
When we talk about service in this context, we're specifically referring to your court years of service. That is time employed directly with Sacramento Superior Court. This calculation is based solely on your actual work history with the court and goes through your last day of employment. It's important to clarify that this number does not include reciprocal time at other agencies, purchase service time, or buyback time with SCERS, as those components are handled separately and evaluated by SCERS. Each employee's court years of service is unique and determined by their individual employment record. The calculation begins from the original hire date and continues through the last day of court employment. A few key factors can affect your service calculations. Those include breaks in service, such as leaving the court and later being rehired, part-time employment, which may reduce your overall years of service as they are adjusted proportionally based on the hours you work. Or if you were laid off by the court and later returned, your original hire date is still recognized. Finally, if you have any questions about your specific years of service, we encourage you to reach out to the payroll team for a personalized calculation, as these are reviewed on a case-by-case basis and according to court policy. All court employees are eligible to use earned vacation time after their last physical day at work. So you're not required to use it all before you leave, giving you flexibility in how you transition into retirement. If you provide at least 10 working days before your final day on site, you'll be able to use up to 40 working days of vacation after your official leave of the workplace. Upon approval, only vacation time may be utilized. The use of any other leave balances will not be permitted. Here's how that breaks down. The first 20 days are automatically approved. Anything beyond 20 days, up to the 40-day maximum, requires department approval, and that's based on the court's business needs at that time. You'll remain in paid status while on your approved vacation. During this time, your benefits will remain active, so you will not experience any gaps in health coverage. One important note, once you submit your final year's vacation usage plan, it's considered final. So be sure you're comfortable with this decision before submitting. For more detailed guidance, we recommend reviewing the vacation usage upon retirement policy. And lastly, let's talk about how your unused vacation time is paid out, because you do have a choice and it's good to plan ahead. You can choose to receive your vacation payout as a lump sum in your final paycheck, or alternatively, if you choose to participate in the vacation upon retirement option, you may receive your accrued vacation as biweekly pay over a defined period before your official retirement date.
We won't go into too much detail here, as Fidelity shared some great information earlier in the webinar, but we would like to quickly highlight the ability to defer all or part of your unused leave balances into your 457B account. For 2025, the standard contribution limit is $23,500. If you're age 50 or older, you can make a catch-up contribution, raising the limit to $31,000. And if you're between the ages of 60 and 63, you may qualify for an additional catch-up, increasing the total limit to $34,750. Keep in mind that these limits are set by the IRS and change annually. To ensure a smooth transition, it is important to begin preparing approximately 2 weeks before your retirement date. This period is critical for completing required tasks and setting expectations. Begin by submitting your official notice of retirement. Once submitted, the payroll team will send you a preparation for retirement email. Carefully review the contents of that email, as it will serve as a guide outlining key information regarding your final paycheck and detailing the next steps in the retirement process. Next, please review the retiree benefit policy and rates document. This resource offers detailed information about your post-retirement benefit options, allowing you to make well-informed decisions. After you have reviewed the retiree benefits document, the retiree benefit election form must be completed and submitted to the HR retiree team no later than 2 weeks prior to your retirement date. Please keep in mind as you prepare, if you will be using vacation time prior to retirement, your management team will complete your timesheet. However, if you will be working through your final day, it is your responsibility to ensure your final timesheet is entered and submitted accurately. As your retirement date approaches, there are a few remaining items to finalize during the last week. Please verify your mailing address on file in the Phoenix system and inform payroll of any recent updates. This ensures accurate delivery of any post-employment documentation or correspondence. Next, you will submit the retiree benefit premium acknowledgement form to the HR retiree team to confirm your understanding of benefit premiums following retirement. Lastly, communicate your preferred method for receiving your final paycheck. Be sure to provide payroll with any special instructions for payment. It is essential to review all of the deadlines and steps outlined today. Ensuring that each requirement is met on time will facilitate a seamless and timely transition into retirement.
Sorry about that. As you prepare for retirement, it's important to understand what happens to your remaining leave balances. This slide helps clarify which leave holds monetary value upon separation and which do not. Let's start with the chart shown here. It provides a breakdown of your various accrued leave types and highlights which balances are eligible for a cash payout and which may be deferred into your 457B retirement account. Vacation, compensatory time off, holiday in lieu, and up to 16 hours of floating holiday are all eligible for a cash payout. You may also choose to defer some or all of these amounts into your 457 account, subject to your deferral elections and IRS contribution limits. Now let's take a look at sick leave. Unlike other leave types, sick leave is not paid out in cash. Instead, it's automatically transferred to SCERS, where it may be converted into additional retirement service credit. This can potentially increase your retirement benefit depending on the total number of sick hours you have accrued. As you prepare, be sure to consider how your leave balances, both payable and non-payable, fit into your overall financial planning and retirement strategy. They both can have a meaningful impact on your final compensation and benefit calculations.
When planning for your final check, there are 2 key factors you need to consider. First, you will want to decide what to do with your vacation time, whether you will use it before retiring or prefer to cash it out. The second consideration is your Fidelity 457B contributions. You should consider how much you want to defer in your retirement account and make sure you are aware of your annual contribution limit, especially if you're close to reaching it. It is important to plan ahead and communicate your preferences. This way, the payroll team can ensure everything is processed accurately and in a timely manner. Proper planning will help to ensure your final check accurately reflects your choices.
As you approach your final days with the court, it's important to understand the details of your final paycheck. The court will issue a paper check that includes payment for any hours worked, along with any remaining leave balances, as discussed in the previous slide. Please keep in mind, on your last day worked, it is possible you may receive 2 payroll checks. One will cover the previous pay cycle, while the second will include payment for days worked in your final period and any applicable leave balances that are cashed out. In terms of deductions, all applicable taxes will be withheld from your final check. And additionally, any voluntary deductions such as contributions to your Fidelity account or other benefit deductions will be processed as usual. Final checks will not be issued via direct deposit. Instead, your paper check will be available for pickup on your last day at the GDS courthouse, or we can mail it to your home. Lastly, as previously mentioned, please make sure that your current address and contact information are up to date in our records. This is important to ensure that you receive any future communications, including your W-2. If you need to update your information, please contact payroll at satcourt.ca.gov. So now that we've covered the details of your final check, I'll hand it over to Amaris Trujillo and Aaron Velasquez. Together, they'll walk you through the retiree benefit options available to you.
Thank you, Victoria. In the next few slides, we will discuss the various early retiree and Medicare, medical, dental, and vision plans. Before we discuss the medical plans offered, it's important for new retirees to understand the transition timeline from active employee benefits to retiree benefits. So for example, if an employee's retirement date is for June 14th of 2025, the employee's last working day will be Friday, June 13th. This would mean that the employee's benefits would remain active through the last day of the month they retire in, as shown in the calendar in red on June 30th. The employee's retiree benefits will then begin on the first day of the following month, which in this case would be July 1st. During this transition period, if an employee has questions regarding their active benefits, they should reach out to the HR benefits team. And if there are any questions regarding their retiree benefits, employees can contact the HR retiree at the email shown on the slide. Portable benefits allow employees to carry their benefits with them as they transition into retirement. Examples of these benefits include the Standards Voluntary Life Insurance and Voya's Critical Illness, Accident, and Hospital Indemnity plans. However, it's important to note that it's the employee's responsibility to coordinate the continuation of voluntary benefits with the vendor during the retirement process.
As payroll mentioned earlier, employees will receive a benefit elections form to enroll in retiree benefits. Employees have several enrollment options. They may enroll in some or all court plans, elect benefits under COBRA, enroll in their spouse or domestic partner's benefits, or purchase private individual coverage. While all of these options are available to upcoming retirees, it is important to note that if a retiree wishes to utilize the court retiree subsidy, they must be enrolled in a court-sponsored medical plan. We will explain the court retiree subsidy further towards the end of this presentation.
In line with the enrollment options, there are 3 opportunities in which retirees can enroll in or make changes to their benefit plans. So the first opportunity that will present itself is, of course, when an employee retires. As mentioned earlier, payroll will send the retiree benefit election form to an upcoming retiree. That form will need to be returned back to the HR retiree team at the email address shown on the screen. This form, once received, we will then send the upcoming retiree specific enrollment forms based on their selections. So if you remember back to the retirement calendar we showed earlier, the effective date of the retiree benefits will begin on the first day of the month after your retirement. Another yearly opportunity in which retirees can enroll in or change their benefits is during the annual open enrollment period. This is typically held in the fall of each calendar year. Each year's retiree will receive email notifications from the HR retiree team notifying them of this open enrollment period. And if a retiree makes a change to their benefits during this time, they can expect the effective date to take place on January 1st of the following calendar year. Lastly, retirees can enroll in or change their benefit plan at any time of the year if they experience a qualified life event, or also known as a QLE. This can include getting married or divorced, the death of a spouse or a domestic partner, or a change in a child's eligibility status, such as turning 26. It's important to note, however, that retirees must notify the HR retiree team at the email address shown on the screen within 30 days of the qualified life event. If a retiree does experience a qualified life event and makes a change to their plan as a result, these changes will be effective the first day of the month after the retiree experienced the QLE.
The court offers 3 early retiree medical plans. The following plans are non-Medicare options for those under the age of 65. Retirees have the choice of the following: Kaiser, Sutter Health Plus, and Western Health Advantage medical plans. The plans shown offer HMO and high deductible health plans. Additionally, when enrolling in the court-sponsored medical plans, retirees must live in an eligible service area established by the elected medical provider. The HR retiree team will confirm that a retiree resides in an eligible service area based on the zip code of the home address. If a retiree moves out of the planned service area, their medical provider may end their coverage. If a retiree plans on moving, it's important for them to communicate with the HR retiree team to review their coverage options. Here is the current rate sheet for the non-Medicare plans we just reviewed. These rates are subject to change as premiums are renewed on an annual basis. For more information regarding the calendar year deductibles and out-of-pocket minimums for all 3 plans, the Retiree Benefits Guide is available on the Human Resources benefit page located on CourtNet.
At 65, or when a retiree is otherwise eligible for Medicare, they will have the choice of enrolling in the Kaiser Senior Advantage HMO or HDHD plan, or the United Healthcare PPO plan when enrolling in Medicare. Both plans require enrollment in Medicare Part A and Part B. If a retiree elects the Kaiser Senior Advantage Medicare HMO or HDHD plan, they must reside in the plan's service area in order to be eligible for coverage. If the retiree moves outside of the service area, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, also known as CMS, will instruct the carrier to cancel coverage. So if a retiree plans on moving out of the area, it's important for them to communicate with the HR retiree team so we can review your coverage options. All of the court Medicare plans have Medicare Part D, also known as prescription drug coverage. So it's not necessary to enroll in a separate supplemental Part D plan, and by doing so, it will result in the cancellation of the court medical plan by CMS. Here is the current rate sheet for the court-offered Medicare plans we just reviewed. Additionally, if one member on your plan is not Medicare eligible, they can select from the non-Medicare plans that Aaron previously showed us that coordinates with the Medicare plan that you enroll in.
The court offers retirees a dental plan with principal. The plan offers 3 levels of tiered coverage. The level of coverage will vary based on the service provider. It is recommended to utilize the Find a Dentist tool on Principal's website to locate a Principal preferred dentist within the exclusive provider organization or preferred provider organization network. To the right are the current rates for Principal Dental Plan. The court also offers a vision plan with VSP. VSP offers 3 levels of benefits: the base plan, the Buy-Up 1 plan, and the Buy-Up 2 plan. It is recommended to utilize the Find a Doctor tool on VSP's website to find a VSP provider. It is important to note that vision benefits allowances reset every January 1st. This means unused benefits expire at the end of the year and are not carried over to the following year. This includes benefits for eye exams, glasses, and contacts. To maximize your benefits, it's recommended to use them before the end of the year. Here's the current rate sheet for the different levels of benefits VSP has to offer.
As mentioned earlier, we'll now be discussing the court retiree subsidy. The amount of subsidy a retiree receives is based on the employee's years of service with the court. As you can see here, there are various subsidy levels based on the retiree's years of service. One of our most frequently asked questions is the application of the court retiree subsidy. Due to this, we felt it was important to highlight the 3 applications identified on the slide. The first being that the subsidy will be applied to the total premium cost incurred by the retiree for medical, dental, vision, and vision insurance purchased through a court-sponsored plan. If you do not enroll in a court-sponsored plan, the subsidy will not be available to you. If the subsidy amount exceeds the cost of the single-party premium, the remaining balance will be used to reduce the cost of dependent coverage. If you do not have any dependents who are covered, the remaining balance of the subsidy shall be limited to the actual amount necessary to pay the cost of the single-party premium. Now, this leads into our next piece of information that in the event that there is a remaining subsidy amount, the retiree forgoes that remaining balance. This information can be found in the Retiree's Health Insurance Administrative Policy, which is also available on CourtNet, located on the HR Benefits page. After reviewing the subsidy levels and how it is applied, before an employee retires, they will receive a retiree's benefit invoice from the HR retiree team. This invoice will include the first 3 months of retiree health insurance premiums. Payment is due by the 1st of each month and made payable to Sacramento Superior Court. SCERS will then begin to deduct medical premiums from the retiree's pension on a monthly basis beginning in the 3rd month, detailed in the invoice, and so on. So for example, if we look at the invoice on the slide, this retiree retired in March and will make payments from April through June to cover the first 3 months of retiree health insurance premiums. Additionally, SCERS will begin to deduct premiums from the retiree's pension on a monthly basis beginning in June for July's premiums and so forth.
Here are some important reminders from the HR retiree team. We have a paperless enrollment process, which means retirees will receive open enrollment information to their personal email address. So it's important for retirees to have and maintain an active email address. With that, please remember to notify the HR retiree team and SCERS if you make any changes to your email address, mailing address, or phone number. This ensures we are able to inform you of any upcoming changes, our open enrollment period, and in instances where we need to contact you. Lastly, as a resource, please scan the QR code to view the list of contacts for all of the resources we shared today. This concludes the court's portion of the retirement webinar. We want to say thank you and congratulations on your upcoming retirement. And if you have any questions on the material we covered, please feel free to leave your questions in the Q&A box or email us at hrretirees@saccourt.ca.gov.